Brock Lesnar is back. Brock Lesnar is back. Yes, he is back. He returned last Saturday, and today we have details on what's going on with WWE's Brock Lesnar, his status with the company, and his contract details. Plus, we also got some information on last night's viewership for AEW Dynamite, and NBC and USA Network are not happy with Smackdown. We're going to get all into that today on the top story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Watch out, watch out, watch out, guys. What's up, everyone? It is the top story of the day here on Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Jose G. Next to me is podcaster extraordinaire on his birthday.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bennet, bro.
What's up, man?
How are you?
Happening? Great. Took advantage of the day off, and I invaded the inside cradle. So I will be on there with Rick and Kev tonight as that happened. And so we talked about a lot of a couple things happened this week in pro wrestling. So we dove deep into that stuff, and
it's definitely been a historic week in the business, and we got lots to talk about today. But before we get into that, happy birthday to you, Jeremy. Happy birthday to you, Jeremy. Happy birthday, happy birthday. I can't go through the whole song. It's going to take too much time. But yeah, happy birthday, bro. I hope you have
thanks.
I
appreciate it. Thank you. All
right, guys, as per usual, make sure you are subscribing to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. We got tons of exclusives over there right now from SummerSlam weekend, interviews with Jinder Mahal, interviews with Drew McIntyre, Nikki ASH, Samoa Joe, the tryouts with Faithy J, the brand new signee in the Performance Center. Guys, check it all out on our YouTube channel right now. We are less than 100 subscribers away from 20,000. Get us to the 20K. Help us get out there. Guys, make sure you're also sharing this show right now on Facebook. If you're watching it, share it in your favorite wrestling group. Tag your friends in the comment section because we're going to jump in to today's top stories. And the top story today is one Brock Lesnar.
Look at that man.
He returned to SummerSlam last Saturday, made a statement on against Roman Reigns and laid John Cena out, and then he just left. Today, we are finding out tons of information on Brock Lesnar's status, not only with WWE, but some extra contract updates details. What do you got for us, Jeremy?
Yeah, so early on in the day here today, they had officially announced that from PW Insider that Lesnar is going to officially be a babyface. Not a surprise, since he's going to take on Roman Reigns here down the line, and he is going to be a official member of SmackDown. I think if you remember correctly, I think Brock could have went wherever he wanted to at the time. I think when he was last in WWE, he could go wherever. Was not really tied to a brand, but it is official that he's now a member of the SmackDown team, and he will appear on this Friday's SmackDown. It is already looking to be an explosive edition of SmackDown with the man Becky Lynch right here. The man Becky Lynch, Brock Lesnar. Tomorrow SmackDown's going to be pretty tremendous. And then later on in the afternoon, Fightful Select dropped a little nugget. Fightful Select said that WWE sources had stated they were hoping to get Brock Lesnar back and hope to have him on screen immediately. And we're told that WWE hopes weren't always necessarily Brock's hopes, but those within WWE that they spoke to were under the impression that Lesnar is under contract for roughly a year and a half and at least 8 matches. Though those can change and they can renegotiate, but those are the plans right now. So it wasn't always Brock wasn't always keen to be coming back to the WWE, or maybe just not to pro wrestling in general. But there you go, about a year and a half and at least 8 matches is what we're going to get out of Brock Lesnar.
Talk about breaking that emergency case glass, huh? You broke the glass with Becky Lynch, and then you broke the glass again with Brock Lesnar Saturday. I mean, listen, I think it was just only a matter of time that we were going to get Brock back, and we just didn't know when. And I think this is the perfect moment to bring him back. I mean, you had CM Punk returning to wrestling from 7 years ago in AEW last Friday. Then on Saturday, we had Becky return. become SmackDown Women's Champion, and Brock Lesnar close out the main event. I mean, it's just been just a historic week. And it also goes back to what Paul Heyman said in a recent interview with Inside the Ropes. Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants to do. And just like that statement that you mentioned earlier, it all depends on what Brock Lesnar's feelings. If he feels like he wants to show up to a show, he's going to show up to a show. If he feels like he wants to go fight in the UFC, he'll go fight in the UFC. Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants to do. And you can't argue with the blockbuster and box office attraction that is Brock Lesnar.
You almost had, I mean, as a WWE fan, you had to hope. You had to hope that Brock wanted to come back because this is just too good with Paul Heyman in the middle. It's going to be interesting to see what direction they go on Friday. You saw the looks of fear that Paul had at SummerSlam. It's going to be interesting. And then once you turn the corner, maybe the draft kind of puts things shifts some things around and puts maybe another dream match in place that we all want in Brock Lesnar against Bobby Lashley as well.
I mean, it's there. The who's to say that in the draft Brock gets traded over to Monday Night Raw?
Right.
I mean, and we'll get into the Monday Night Raw story later on.
Fox may not want that though.
Fox may not want that. But it is a possibility because the draft is right around the corner.
Yep.
And we may get Bobby Lashley versus Brock. It may happen, maybe Royal Rumble. It may happen next year at Mania. I don't know, but the ingredients are there. I think at some point we're gonna have to get that match.
If you get those two people in the Royal Rumble and they're face to face, just imagine that pop. There's going to be a pop if those two go face to face at the Royal Rumble, much like Keith Lee did it when Keith Lee did it, staring him down. There's going to be that pop, and there's going to be a pop if they're both in the Rumble and then end up going face to face. You can say, "Oh, right there, book it, WrestleMania, piece of cake, right there."
Because you already know the people know the WWE universe and the smart marks that watch and consume all this stuff. They know that's the match that they want. And WWE's not dumb. They know. They know that that's what we want. So we'll see. We'll see if that's what we indeed get.
And babyface Brock is going to be fresh. We've had a heel Brock for a lot of the time. Brock can be funny. I mean, you got the briefcase with the boom box that was hilarious. So, Brock can be entertaining as a baby with being a babyface. It's going to be interesting to kind of see what directions they go. And man, Friday's going to be some must-see TV here tomorrow.
Chris Aldridge is asking, what channel is it on? Because Fox has football on Friday.
Oh,
if that's the case, it may be on FS1. So
I have not heard
backup, but I haven't heard anything about not being on the actual network.
Yeah, let me pull up the old TV guide here. I've got it right here, and let's go to 7:00 my time and see what Fox has. Fox has SmackDown scheduled, so unless that maybe that's a local, maybe a local NFL game or something, because I've got SmackDown on my TV guide here, so
could be. Well, Jeremy, let's jump into our second story here because last night we had AEW Dynamite. CM Punk made his debut on Dynamite after Rampage last Friday. Very great reception for him in Milwaukee last night, and the numbers reflected that 1.1 million. Viewership. What do we got here?
I thought the numbers would be a little bigger for Dynamite since Dynamite's already a built-in audience, but the numbers aren't always the key when you look at these things because there are so many other factors now in television as opposed to back in the 80s when Nielsen's were king. But still, it's always good to look at it and compare and contrast, and they did shoot up 1.172 million, which is the most since April 14th. They had a very strong demo, 0.48. 0.48 is Monday Night Raw territory. Monday Night Raw always carries a very strong demo, and that is Monday Night Raw territory, and that's the second highest ever demo, just short of the very first Dynamite. So the total viewership was the third highest for Dynamite, behind the April 14th and the debut as well. On top of that, the big news out of all of this is they beat the challenge, which is the ratings juggernaut on cable for MTV. Nobody dethrones the challenge. It's hardly ever done. And
on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, and AEW did it, and it's even going to get tougher now. The Masked Singer pulls in some ratings, and you always see you'll see those. You noticed it last year with NXT and Dynamite. You'll notice a dip in those ratings once the Masked Singer starts up again too. So they're going to get some stiff competition here pretty soon. But I mean, they took on the challenge and they beat them. So that's a pretty strong statement there with the show last night.
I completely agree, but you also have to think when you're talking about the Masked Singers and on these other huge reality competition shows, these are on Fox on broadcast TV. TNT is on cable, and it's competing again with the challenge, which is on MTV, which is also on cable. So for it to be on cable and to draw and beat the challenge on a Wednesday night on primetime, that is actually quite a big deal.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling that it's just going to keep going up and up. It's probably going to hover. It's going to go up for a while, and it's going to hover until something else big happens, like Bray Wyatt or Braun or something like that.
I mean, Punk melted the internet last night by basically saying Brian Danielson is all elite. So, once he comes in, Uncle Dave says the third of these three massive signings that are coming to AEW is going to be Bray Wyatt. So, the times are changing, and maybe if Buddy Matthews comes over, there's some possibilities that he might be going to Impact though, possibly. But it's a tremendous time for pro wrestling, and it's just going to make everybody better, and the fans are just going to benefit from it all.
Agree. Jesse Osborne watching us from Australia. He's saying, honestly, I thought that it would be. But yes, look at the amount of YouTube views Instagram has, Instagram views, and people like me who live in Australia. AEW Dynamite comes out on Thursday during the day, so I'm at work and I watch it on Fight TV. So yeah, this isn't even counting all the other views that they get from YouTube, streaming services,
Sling,
which is also another big driver for their viewership. More comments coming in here from Tim Hardy. I almost said Tom Hardy. Tim, the ratings weren't as good as expected for AEW, regardless of how you flip it. That's also kind of true because they were expecting way bigger numbers for AEW Dynamite last night, especially with Rampage and CM Punk's return to pro wrestling. I think they were expecting some bigger numbers. However, these are still very good numbers comparing to 4 months ago. So
the network's going to worry about the demo more than the overall number, and that demo is what a Monday Night Raw gets. So TNT is not mad at all at what those numbers came out to be last night.
James says Spanto Fernando Taguay watching us, loyal here, Sportskeeda wrestling member viewer. Good old JB Huskers and Hosta G. Do you guys think that Bryan Danielson might be the linchpin to make AEW a show that can go head to head with Raw?
I mean,
they already got a Punk, So that's what I'm saying. Like, if they decide to ever do something like that again, like go head to head with Monday Night Raw, you already got Brock. Put Brock on Monday Night Raw. Put Roman on Monday Night Raw. And let's see how those ratings truly will go. Yeah,
and don't forget they're moving to TBS next year, which has a bigger reach, which is hard to believe because TNT's been around for so long, but TBS does have a bigger reach. But God, there's a reason why when something cool in wrestling happens, you see a yes chant. Hence, when CM Punk asked if he still got it, and the crowd started doing the yes chant, and he goes,
"That's another guy's shtick. You guys gotta have to be patient for that one."
Oh, what? And we met. The internet melted. The internet melted, and don't forget,
just for that.
We talked about this on the Inside Cradle today, but there were some nuggets on Punk's shoes initials, and there were BW was the initials this week. So. For Bray Wyatt. So
unbelievable. I love how they just keep pouring little nuggets of teasers here and there just to keep us engaged so we can sink our teeth in so we can keep watching every single week.
I'm gonna lose my crap when the final countdown hits, because Tony Khan's buying Europe's The Final Countdown, and we're gonna have that for Bryan Danielson, and I'm gonna lose my crap. Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait. It's such a good pro wrestling entrance song.
It really is. There's a lot of good pro wrestling songs that are not like pro wrestling per se, but there's a lot of really good old school songs that are excellent for pro wrestling. I completely agree with that. All right, man, let's get into our last story here of the show. We got NBC, USA Network. We got a little bit of pettiness going on. What it's like the big brother and the little sister.
Yeah.
Like, why does he get to play with that toy? It's so cool. Well, that's what NBC's doing. NBC and USA are pretty much hammering. Well, why does SmackDown have such a stacked roster and we just have Bobby Lashley?
Let's book this at WrestleMania. Executive from Fox against an executive for USA. Let's book it.
You know what? You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because guess what? I got it.
Oh,
I got it.
Look at that.
Got it. This is what's going on. So today we found out through Andrew Zirin for the Mat Men podcast, Mat Men Wrestling podcast, that there's an issue going on with NBC and the USA guys, saying that that the SmackDown roster is really stacked. We got Becky Lynch back last Saturday. We got Brock Lesnar. They're both confirmed to be on SmackDown. Becky Lynch being the SmackDown Women's Champion, and recently today finding out that Brock Lesnar will be babyface on SmackDown. But this
does that graphic not look like one of those workplace violence
that's exactly where I got it from.
Oh yes, that you watch when you're a new employee or something.
Yeah, like one of those harassment and anger management
you got to go
classes
through.
You got to go through before you. Is it part of your 90-day orientation?
Yeah. Those still photos, like the workplace, like the. Oh, those things are so corny and
then the guy in the background.
Yeah. Oh, there's always a guy folded arms going.
Oh, there's one in guy. Check it out. Boom. See right there, right in the background. Over to your right. He's
getting ready. The guy on the right's getting ready to chant, "This is awesome." I think.
But what's your take on this, man? What's your take on NBC Universal being upset? I think they ut a legit gripe to pick here.
They do, but I mean, what are you gonna do when it's a cable network put up against a network, a broadcast network in Fox that is giving the WWE more money, or that is probably bringing in more money for the WWE than USA and NBC Universal are. It's interesting to see, but I mean, I can see their point just because SmackDown is their top rated show right now and it reaches more people. So they're gonna put when you have the draft coming around in October, you're gonna see Roman Reigns sticking around on Fox. You're gonna see Becky Lynch sticking around on Fox. Brock Lesnar probably not gonna go to Raw. He's gonna probably stick around on SmackDown as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Reading some of your guys' comments here, James Espanto Fernando saying Fox has been better to WWE than USA has been to WWE. ... Just saying. Victor Nash saying the draft is coming up. Cool here, I'm watching this on YouTube, saying Roman is dropping the title to Brock and would win it back after Survivor Series. I don't know. That's interesting. Let's see what else we got here. Chris Aldridge, they're pissed off with WWE. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Question here from Hunter Iggy watching us on YouTube. Sportskeeda Wrestling, have a question. Oh, we always get at least once a week. We get this question: who will start the invasion first, WWE or AEW? Invasion. Well, if we're fantasy booking, right? If we're like completely dream booking in a perfect world in the professional wrestling multiverse that we now know as the Forbidden Door, right?
This is the ultimate Forbidden Door right here.
if this were ever to happen, I would have to say AEW would move on WWE first, right? Because
it's like the DX
company. Yeah,
they're like the DX towards the corporation. So yeah, AEW would definitely take the first shot.
I think so.
You got guys like the Inner Circle. Maybe that'd be a band of thugs that some of them ex WWE guys. They would have no problem doing some invasion right now, but. I don't think that Forbidden Door is going to get open anytime soon.
Not quite yet.
No, but we did talk on Inside Cradle, a little tease for later tonight. We did talk about who we think may be the first to crack open that door of leaving AEW for WWE. So Little tease for you for tonight.
Yeah, that dropping tonight at 8 p.m. on the YouTube channel exclusively. So be on the watch out for Inside Cradle. You can also, if you don't want to watch the video, you can listen to the Inside Cradle podcast by subscribing to our podcast wherever you get your major podcasts, on Spotify, Apple, any of the audios. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, and also subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We got tons of stuff there. We're this close to 20K, guys, 20,000 subscribers. Help us push us over to that 20,000. We're right there. Give us a follow on Facebook. Share this today's live stream on demand in your favorite wrestling group, and tag your wrestling friends. Again, happy birthday, Jeremy, bro.
Thank you.
I'm so privileged that I get to do these shows with a professional like yourself.
Well,
and then
thank you.
I wish you many more years of health and life and happiness. Hopefully another 50 years, right?
I appreciate it, man. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to do a little dinner, a little barcade, and then a little karaoke. So it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Sweet. All right, guys. Tonight I have Recons of Wrestling. That's going to be live at 8 p.m. on my YouTube channel and here on Facebook. Make sure you give us a follow over there. Rico and Kenny and myself, we're going to be breaking down everything that went down at SummerSlam and This Week in Wrestling and the latest in wrestling news. So go ahead and check us out. Recons of Wrestling. Jeremy, go ahead and get your plug in.
We got lost in the mid card, myself and my good friend Matt Black, who was also a writer for Sportskeeda. We are making that push to episode 300. We are so close to episode 300. You can find Lost in the Mid Card on any podcasts. Just search for that. Make sure you find the new feed because we got a new host for the podcast, and also on the YouTube. We got the video version there as well. A shorter show this week. Actually, I'm getting ready to upload it right now after we get off the air. But a shorter show. We're going to cover a great weekend, a whirlwind weekend with Punk, SummerSlam, and Takeover, and we'll cover Dynamite. So a little shorter show, but yep, just search for Lost in the Mid Card and give us a little subscribe ski.
Guys, doesn't matter where you are in the world. It is a great time to be a wrestling fan. There is a flavor for everyone. There is a color for everyone. But most importantly, when you are watching and enjoying these shows, what's the most important thing that they can do, Jeremy?
That is to enjoy wrestling. Yeah.
Enjoy wrestling.
Let me talk to you.